Well, hello, and welcome to an incredibly special episode of On Deck with Avoya. You know, I've said from time to time over the last 2 years, this is a special episode, but today, it really is a special episode. From where we are on board the beautiful Celebrity Beyond, to our amazing special guest that we're going to welcome here in just a second, to the fact that I'm wearing pants. Today is just a very, very special episode of On Deck with Avoya. You know, a couple of years ago, the travel industry was just at that point where it was starting to emerge from that cocoon. We've been under a no sale order for almost a full year. We had just transitioned into a conditional sale order. And at Avoya Travel on the network side, we decided we wanted to be a cheerleader for the industry. We wanted to welcome the industry back in grand fashion. So we had the idea for a little show that we called On Deck with Avoya. It started really organically, and I'm so lucky we've got a live studio audience today, and so many former special guests are here joining us for our episode. So it's just amazing that we're here, and we don't want to wait any longer. We're going to bring in our special guests. Ladies and gentlemen, we're so honored. Our host this week, the Senior Vice President of Sales, Trade Support and Service for Celebrity Cruises. Please help me in welcoming Dondra Ritzenthaler to On Deck with Avoya.
That was cool.
Dondra, first off, I just want to thank you. You know, I want to thank you for being our host this week, and I want to thank you for having us on board this absolutely amazing ship. I mean, please pardon the pun, but you must be beyond proud.
It's beyond awesome.
It really is, absolutely. You know, as we broadcast this over our social media channels for Avoya Travel, I was hoping maybe you could just give us a little backstory about how you ended up in the travel industry and how you went to become the SVP here at Celebrity Cruises.
So thank you, first of all, for having me. I'm excited to be here, live audience, online. How cool is this? And I love the fact that you guys at Avoya did this. I really do, because we all need this in the industry. We need the positivity. We need everybody to see the energy, feel the love that we all have for this entire cruising industry, and particularly, of course, celebrity, right?
Absolutely.
But your question is, how did I get in this crazy business, right? So when I grew up in a very modest home, and we didn't have a lot of money. We had a lot of love, but we didn't have a lot of money. And so vacation for us was getting in our station wagon and going from East Texas, which is where we grew up, to Dallas, Texas, and going to Six Flags, and you know, it was great. But I just knew in my heart of hearts that there was a lot more out there to see, right? Everything from what I learned in my school, etc. So I got that bug to travel because of what I didn't do, right? So fast forward, graduate from college. When I graduated from college, I had never been on an airplane. And believe it or not, I actually flew on an airplane to interview to work for American Airlines, even though I'd never flown on an airplane, right? So what does that tell you? Fortunate enough and blessed enough to get the job at American Airlines as a flight attendant right out of college. And I feel so honored with my time with American because I was there 20 years. I had 12 different jobs. And what I tell everybody is that my mother and father raised me, and then American Airlines finished raising me. And so I was in the airline business and I loved it. It was amazing. But as I learned about the hospitality business, I learned about this amazing opportunity called cruising. And a colleague of mine said, Dondra, I really think that you would love that business. And so I was blessed. I interviewed with Celebrity Cruises 20 years ago last night.
Wow.
20 years ago.
Talk about timing. You are celebrating 2 years of On Deck with Avoya. You're celebrating 20 years in the cruise industry.
I love that. When you guys said it was 2 years on deck with Avoya, I thought, oh my God, that's beautiful. And then I've been so blessed that Celebrity Cruises gave me a job 20 years ago, and I can tell you that it has blessed my life, my family's life, and I'm a lifer in this business because it is joyful.
What was that moment like when you first set foot on a cruise ship? You remember like the emotions that you were going through and what that experience was like for you, Dondra?
Okay, so I told you that I interviewed to work for American and never flown. I also interviewed to work for Celebrity and never sailed. So anybody out there who thinks that, you know, you have to go try this before you can work here, that's totally wrong. And honestly, I got the job and I was so grateful to get the job. So the feeling that I felt walking onto the ship for the first time, as much as I would love to say it was joyful and amazement and some of those experiences I also experienced, but I'm gonna be honest, it was fear. Because I was like, I just got this job. I've never cruised before. I don't know the cruising industry. I've got a team that's looking to me as their leader, and I've never done this before. Now, very shortly thereafter, because the people at Celebrity and really Royal Caribbean Group as a whole are so amazingly kind and really put me under their arms and said, you got this. And then I met people like you all at Avoya right after that. And then I knew that I had found my home. And that when I walk on ships like this beautiful Beyond ship, I know that we have the best vacation proposition in the business. And I'm so filled with pride about the products that we deliver.
Well, you should be, because Celebrity delivers consistently, just time and time again, just an amazing experience. The ships are always beautiful. The food is fantastic. The entertainment just knocks your socks off. I mean, for me, the first time I cruised, I fell in love when I found out you could do second breakfast. So, you know what I mean?
Right? But you know what I love about cruising is that you really are in control of your own destiny, right? And that you could do everything on the ship or you could do nothing, right? It's totally up to you. And I do love the fact that if you love that dessert, you could ask for another one, right? That's the way it is. But I agree with you, the entertainment, you know, like we just saw Arte and then Stage Door and Elements on this ship. And I got to tell you, the entertainment is simply phenomenal, right? And so people think, you know, if you want entertainment, you have to go to New York and see Broadway or off Broadway or whatever. And I got to tell you, you can come on a ship like Celebrity Cruises and you can see the most incredible shows. And then things like Soul Town with, you know, singers in this room, and it's second to none. And you don't have to pay extra. It's all included, right?
Right.
And I love that aspect.
You know, I was in Eden yesterday and I wasn't looking at the entertainment in the beginning, and they started to perform. And I realized it was entertainment and not, you know, like the record itself. When the guitar guy went into like an extended solo, and I said, wow, these people are just so amazing. And they're just playing for us at lunch. I mean, from top to bottom, the entertainment is fantastic. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. So just, you know, I just want everybody to know that. You want everybody to know that, and call Avoya and book this cruise and let's rock and roll.
Absolutely. So I know you're one of those kind of people, you don't like to look out the rear view mirror. You're more of a windshield kind of a person. So I'm going to ask you to maybe look back just a little bit as we kind of set the stage, because everybody knows what we went through with COVID and just everything that happened, that word that we just won't say after that again. And when I started this show 2 years ago, as I said in the intro, we wanted to be a cheerleader for the industry, because if you talk to people, just your neighbors, your friends, your family, there was this pent-up frustration, this desire that I was losing out on really important life moments by not being able to get out there and explore, whether take a cruise or go on, you know, a vacation to an amusement park or whatever the case may be. What was it about the philosophy at Celebrity Cruises that really made the difference, that allowed you guys to survive the moment and be in a position to then thrive again when the opportunity presented itself?
So I love the fact that you know that I'm a person who wants to look in the windshield and not the rearview mirror, because I think that's so important for all of us, regardless if we're talking about a vacation or just living our lives, right? Because it is so time to move forward. And so I really do love that you think that and said that about me, because it is really true. And I will tell you that I think the reason that we at Celebrity Cruises came out of this in a positive way is because we made a conscious decision to remember that attitude is everything, and that you have a choice in life. You have a choice to be positive and find the silver lining and go forward, or you have a choice to freeze and do nothing or go backwards, right? And so we chose, as a brand, we chose to have a positive attitude, the right perspective, and to move forward. And I think that has an impact, right? And I also want to say that we knew at some point we were going to come out of this thing, right? We all knew that, right? Everybody, we knew that. And so what we said was, let's just be ready. Let's make sure people love our brand. Let's make sure that they know what we did during this time to be even better tomorrow than we were today. And I think that that's part of it. And then the last part is, you mentioned it. People were pent up and they were frustrated. And now there's this thing called, and I'm sure you've heard of it, called revenge travel.
Craziest thing ever.
I love revenge travel. I love that, because that comes from this crazy, passionate perspective, right? And revenge travel is so cool, because what people are doing now is they're like, listen, I didn't get to go to my King's Day. I missed my son's graduation. I missed these things, right? My anniversary. And so now I'm going to do them. And man, I'm going to do them better than the way that I did before. And that's what we're seeing, is that, someone like yourself who might have booked a cruise before on Celebrity Cruises and booked an inside cabin is now booking a suite. And so what's happening is that people have this mentality that I deserve it, and dang it, I'm going on this thing and I'm going to have a wonderful time. And that's what it's all about now. That's where we're at, and that's what we're going to keep doing. And that's why things like this on, this show and what you guys do every day to sell cruises to consumers makes the most sense, because we can see it. We're back, you're back, and the consumer is back.
I've been on several celebrity cruises prior to you guys releasing this new class of ship, the Edge class. And it was amazing then. But I remember being at Cruise 360, and our good friend Charles Sylvia is here in our studio audience from Clear today. We certainly appreciate him being here. He's a past guest a couple of times here on Deck with Avoya. And I remember being at Cruise 360, and you guys were previewing the Edge and the magic carpet and all of that. And it was just kind of like, seems so like out of this world kind of a concept. When you walk around the Beyond, you're now the third ship in that class. What is it about this class of ship that just really blows you away?
So it is true, because when you first hear about the magic carpet, you're like, what? It's this space that's kind of off the ship but on the ship and goes up and down, and people think we're actually a little nuts, right? Same thing with La Petite Chef. When you try to explain to people the restaurant concept, La Petite Chef, people don't get it. So let me tell you what I love about this class of ship, but all of our ships, right? So we've got Millennium class ships that now we've revitalized that are just spectacular. We've got Solstice class ships that really changed the world in the cruising industry. And then humbly, we just did it again with Edge class. And what I love about this ship is that even though it holds 2,800 guests, it's full right now, this week that you and I are on, it's full, and yet it feels not full, right? Because
incredibly not full.
Exactly.
It really does feel that way.
And we're not just saying that, right?
We're not. Last night I was exploring, and I was shocked at the number of little nooks and crannies and spaces where I was just able to have a little me time.
Exactly. And that's what I love about it. It's beautifully designed by architects, by the way, that are not cruise architects. There are people like Kelly Hoppin and Nate Burkus and those types of individuals who just designed homes or designed buildings. And we purposely did that so that the ship would feel like your home, right? And that's why you feel these intimate spaces and small design spaces and beautiful touches of details that if it was a cruise ship builder, maybe they wouldn't do. And then I have to humbly say that, the sunset bar on the back of this ship, when you're coming in and you're leaving, oh my goodness gracious, it is spectacular. And Nate Burkus designed it. And one of my favorite stories is that Lisa Lutoff-Perlo, our president and CEO, has a relationship, we all do, with Nate, and said, listen, we're going to give you one space. You pick the space, and we're going to give you carte blanche to do what you want to with it. And Nate Burkus chose the Sunset Bar. And I got to tell you, it is not only drop dead beautiful, but right on the edge of the ship, so you're close to the water. But the energy is amazing. The bar is spectacular, and the drinks that they serve are really over the top creative. So that's one space. And then I would have to say the other space is the Grand Plaza with the martini bar. It sounds like all I do is drink. I don't know if that's good or not. But the martini bar that goes around the Grand Plaza, it's now all the way around instead of in the corner. So the energy in that room is so incredible, right? And then the third part, if I was only going to try to, because I don't want to go on too long, but the third part is the retreat, right? And the retreat is where you go if you buy a suite. Everything from the entry level suite all the way up to the iconic suite. And that retreat went from being 1 deck to 2 decks. And you know, you've got your own lounge, your own pool, your own bar, your own restaurant, your own space. And so that is so special. And it's nice that we kind of have that ship within a ship, because that way we can give those people what they want. And then other people who want different things also can have what they want. And then throughout the entire ship, you've got beautiful venues that everybody gets to feel and enjoy. And that, in summary, is my favorite part, other than one other part.
Okay.
And that is against all of our ships, no matter where they are, and that is that we have the most amazing crew.
Amen. Yeah, give them a big hand, right?
Thank you, right? Because the crew on board this ship and every ship that I've humbly ever sailed on, the attention to detail and the desire to serve is unprecedented. I mean, they want to make every single thing you happy and perfect throughout the entire cruise. And you can feel that from the minute you walk on to the minute you walk off. So it doesn't matter if it's our oldest ship or our newest ship. The feeling that they give you absolutely is the biggest reason that Celebrity Cruises magic is the magic.
So we are celebrating the 2-year anniversary of On Deck with Avoya today on board the beautiful Celebrity Beyond. We're in port today in Costa Maya, Mexico. We have an amazing guest, Senior Vice President at Celebrity Cruises, Dondra Ritzenthaler, is joining us. A few minutes ago, we looked back. Let's do the opposite. I think it's more in your wheelhouse, right?
Sure.
Let's look forward. Can you give us any kind of a sneak peek or verbal wise of anything exciting coming down the pipe for Celebrity Cruises?
Well, let's first of all talk about us together.
Okay.
I think we're going to have the most incredible 2, 3, 5 years of doing business together, because I know, and I can already see it, that cruisers are back. And that means that all of us of Celebrity Cruises and Avoya, we're going to be so happy and so successful because we keep fulfilling dreams of our consumer. That's one thing I look forward to in the future. And then specifically about Celebrity, right? So we have Edge and Apex, and now Beyond, we've got 2 more Edge class ships. Can you believe that, y'all? 5 Edge class ships will be out, right? Thank you. And the industry is growing. You know, the capacity that we're doing as an entire industry is extraordinary, because what that shows you is that the demand from our consumers to cruise is going to be greater than it even was before 19, because people have that revenge travel. And then particularly for Celebrity, in addition to the new builds that we still have with Ascent coming next December, and then we haven't even named the 5th one. What we're also doing at Royal Caribbean Group is that we continue to do things the right way. You know, we're inclusive of every ethnicity, lifestyle, and then thinking about sustainability. You know, we're doing those things that really make a difference to people. And I think you're going to continue to see us do that. So we're going to fill these ships, have the best guest experience, grow as a team, grow with you, and then keep doing it in the way that we know is right for the world, and also that people will recognize that, hey, I share the same values as Celebrity Cruises, so I'm going to cruise on Celebrity Cruises.
I mean, you just kind of touched base on my next question already, but I think it's just worth, reiterating again, but there's still so much room for growth in this side of this industry, right? I mean, the cruise segment is still, the sky is the limit, right?
Yeah, it's still a baby segment. I haven't looked at the number as of late, but the cruising industry really is only penetrating globally like 20%. Y'all, that means 80% has not cruised ever. That's a lot, right? So the world is our oyster as far as how many people. But let me tell you what I do love. When someone cruises, and I will only speak for Celebrity Cruises, when they go on Celebrity Cruises, they come back to us 82% of the time. So what does that say, right? Cruising is an amazing vacation. cruising on celebrities is an extraordinary good vacation because once we get you, we got you, right? They come back to y'all at Avoya and they come back to us at Celebrity. So what we want to do is leverage the fact that it's got a wonderful reputation and keep advertising it to the consumer in the way that gets their attention, get them on this ship, and then keep them coming back over and over and over, because 20% of the world is a little bitty number. So that 80% we have is an opportunity.
We just can't wait to welcome that 80% because they're going to be blown away the first time they, participate in something like this. I really think. Our normal audience for On Deck with Avoya Dondra is a mixture. There's some that are already in the Avoya network. We also have outreach to those that maybe are in the industry. And then there's those that are curious about getting involved in this crazy world of selling travel and being a travel advisor. And you've had a chance to talk to really some amazing, I'm sure, successful travel advisors throughout your career. Would there be any advice that you would offer either to those that are in our audience today or those that might be watching us online today that would just be a good little piece of advice that they could take with them and maybe become successful with?
100%. First and foremost, Avoya is super fantastic. I mean, the technology, the marketing, your culture, your energy it's just, y'all are just such an amazing partner to Celebrity Cruises. So let's start with that.
Thank you for that, by the way. We appreciate that.
I love this audience.
It's amazing. A live audience for On Deck with Avoya.
Right? 2 years now we've been doing this. But I think if you were really curious about this or you just started, I would really give you 3 pieces of advice, right? To just not be too wordy. Because I love this business so much, I got to be careful not to do that. 1, be passionate about selling cruises. Or selling travel in general, right? But love cruising more than that. Be passionate about it, because if you're not passionate about what you do, you shouldn't do it because it's work. If you're passionate about it, it's joy that you actually get paid for, right? And so really be passionate about it. Number 2, pick your partners. Do not try to be all things to all suppliers, right? We obviously want you to pick us at Celebrity Cruises because we humbly believe we deliver on a beautiful product and we're good partners to you. But pick 2 or 3 or 4 partners, get to know them in minute detail, learn the product, become an expert in the product, and then sell that with that number 1 thing with passion, because you're going to actually make more money if you do that than if you try to be a little bit all things to all people and be a jack of all trades and master of none, right? And then number 3, I would say, again, it kind of goes back to passion, and that is leverage what you already have going for you. So if you're in a wine club or a reader, a read a book club or art club, or no matter what it is, turn that into revenue generating opportunities, right? With groups that you guys do with us, and put a group together that is all like-minded, start leveraging that, booking it, getting it filled, and then asking each one of them to bring one other person, because it's just that simple how it starts, right? Starts with a small group, but you use your like-mindedness or things that you love. Like I would do a wine cruise to the Med, and I would go to all my friends and family and look at my database, and I would say, that's what I'm going to do. So passion, pick your partners, and leverage what you're already good at. And I promise you, if you couple that with Avoya and come into things like we're on right now, where we can network with each other, you're going to crush it. And you're going to be so glad that you're not in a business that is boring and not fun and might make decent money, but you just hate doing it every day. You love doing this if you do those 3 things.
When I first had a chance to get involved in this side of the industry and I started going to trade shows, I have to admit, and I apologize, but I used to kind of stalk you from like 2 aisles over, right? Because I wanted to study your body language. I wanted to watch how you interacted with people. And one thing that I really learned from that moment is to be in the moment. That if you're going to give up your time, whether that somebody is, and I've watched you do this, whether they've sold their first celebrity cruise and they're excited to tell you about it, whether they're $1 million partner, you're right there in that conversation. You let them know that you're present. And I think it's just a great lesson for people involved in relationship sales to know to be in the moment. And if you're going to give up that time, just be there and do that.
You know, I believe that not only with what we do with each other, but with our kids and our spouse or significant others, because, you know, we're on that phone, right? All the time. But I will tell you the reason that I do that, and I appreciate very much the compliments, but we need each other. And at Celebrity Cruises, everybody in this room and online need to understand that at Celebrity Cruises, we are 100% dependent upon our travel advisors like you guys at Avoya. And so not only would I never be disrespectful to not be in the moment with somebody who's telling me something that they want me to know, but I'm genuinely invested because we're in this together, right? And I say it all the time, we're one team, one focus. And so I'm humbled and honored to get to work with you. And I want to show that humbleness and that honor by listening very much into what you have to say and being grateful for the business, whether it's one booking or 1,000 bookings or 10,000 bookings.
We've touched on the word partnerships a couple of times, but why do you think specifically in travel that partnerships are still such a vital component and make everything work and move forward?
Well, because, you know, if you were going to book an airline ticket between Dallas, Miami, Dallas, it's pretty easy, right? You could do it without too much effort. But we put on such a beautiful product and cruising as a whole that you need an expert. And, you know, I would never cut and color my own hair. Would you?
No.
No. I wouldn't pull my own teeth, right? You wouldn't, you go to the dentist, right? You need the expert. And so the reason that partnership is so important for Celebrity Cruises, and I think I'm pretty confident in the industry, is that we need experts. We need y'all to say, cruising is an amazing vacation. It is a one-stop shop. You don't unpack and repack. The culinary experiences, the service, the shows, everything is so spectacular. We need you to be the expert because it is so much more of a complicated process and sale that sometimes consumers are a little bit apprehensive. And so you're just like the hair salon person, the dentist, the tax consultant, you're the expert. And we depend on you to not only qualify and articulate the proposition of cruising, but very selfishly say why celebrities should be the right one for them, right? Because selfishly, I believe that we are. But honestly, we couldn't do it without you. So it's an authentic thing that we need each other.
Is that the reason why you would make a decision to like invite an Avoya Travel to have their national conference on board a ship like this? I mean, what's the benefit for celebrity? I mean, I'll just be point blank and I ask that.
Well, this is how much I love Avoya and the team, Jason and Lisa Lou, Top Perlo, Keith Lane, everybody. Y'all were on our APAC ship last year, right? Which
Yes.
was the new ship.
Woo!
And now 12 months later, you're on our other new ship. That kind of shows you we love you, right? And that we need you and we value you. But yeah, I mean, honestly, the reason that we do this, besides the fact that we value and love you and need you, is that seeing is believing. When you guys were on Avoya last year, your business shot up like a hockey stick, right? You're doing like this and you were doing great and we're very grateful. But we really like it when you go like this. And that's what you did. And so, you know, obviously we're smart, right? We're like, oh, we like that behavior. Let's repeat that. And so that's the reason that it makes sense because, you know, we're walking around here last night and having dinner with everybody and they were like, Jason, Dondra, this ship is unbelievable. I can't wait to go back and tell X, Y, and Z. And that's what we depend on. And that's why we make the investment to bring you guys on and show you how beautiful it is.
Fantastic. So I wanted to take a second and talk about Dondra, the person away from Celebrity Cruises.
There is no such thing. No.
So if you get a little bit of time at home, and I'm sure it happens very rarely these days, but what kind of things do you like to do for fun outside of going on a cruise?
So yeah, I will tell you a joke. People like, Dondra, you know, you're out and about quite a bit. Where do you actually live? And they expected me to say, you know, like a city, and I go 4A. because I'm on planes so much. For those of you who don't travel, that will make no sense. But there's two things I really love to do. Number one, I'm such a softie for animals, and I have my little Bella and my little Tux, which is my dog and my cat, and I love to be with them. And as much as I also adore my husband, I miss my dog and cat more than I miss my husband. That's so sad. Kevin, I hope you're not listening. And he's amazing. And then my boys, you know, I have two boys, 23 and 21. And in fact, today is my son Reese's 23rd birthday. Today. So
wow. Happy birthday.
And so being with them is really the greatest joy that I could ever have. And, you know, people have asked me, what's my favorite view? And my favorite view is sitting on the sidelines at 8 a.m. in the morning with dew still on the ground and my sons either playing soccer or lacrosse, and I'm on the sidelines cheering them on. Kind of makes me tear up a little bit because now they're not doing it anymore and I miss it so much, right? And then I would say that the other thing is doing anything active, right? Swimming with sharks or like crazy stuff. Skiing, swimming with sharks, scuba diving, you know, sand dune, buggy riding. You know, when I'm not doing stuff like this, I like to do things that kind of put my life in jeopardy, I guess. And family, man. Family is, it's my greatest joy.
You were talking about earlier that growing up, you didn't get a chance to take really fancy vacations and maybe going to Six Flags. What was it about watching travel through your boys' eyes that had to have been a rewarding experience for you, I'm sure?
My kids, when they were 3 and 1, had done more from a travel perspective than I did at 23, right? And I always believe with all my heart that travel opens up your heart and your mind and your soul. Because you go around the world and you meet all these amazing people with different ethnicities and backgrounds and you know, and you see the way that people live their lives in the same or different ways, and they make you love them by, you know, speaking with you, and you see beautiful statues or churches or, you know, just, it's just so how you learn and how we all become such better people. And so I told my kids, you have to go to college and you have to graduate, but I really believe that you get more learning and more out of life by going around the world and learning and growing up in that experience than you do ever from any book that you would read or, you know, school that you would go to. Not that I'm advocating not going to college, because if y'all are like me, you force your kids to go to college. But I think that growth, and you become so much more deep as a person and so much more grateful for other places on earth, that you become a better person because you try to be more like that. And I think that that's what travel is all about. And I think cruising, because you can go to so many different places, is the best way to do that. But I think it changes you.
Is there any place amongst all the amazing places I'm sure you've had a chance to visit that kind of stand out as a special place in your heart?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've been blessed, right? All of us in this business have been blessed to go to a lot of places. The place that touched me the most, that I think changed me the most, that I talk about all the time, is the Galapagos Islands, because it's so authentic and real, and the people are amazing, and the animals that you get to go, you know, up close and personal with. I mean, I'm not joking you. I was in the water with a snorkel, and a sea lion came up and was doing like this with me, this close to my face. And for me, that, you know, that's like heaven. But it changes you because it's so authentic and unspoiled and so special. And that to me was one of the reasons that I love that the most. And then second, really close second, is an African safari. And I got to tell you, I love that. And that's not even what we do at Celebrity Cruises, but I want to answer the question honestly, that in the Galapagos, we've got 3 ships and you can do it. But in African safari, we don't have that. But the oneness with the animals and how you get to see the big 6 and how you get so close to them, there's just something super special about that. But, you know, I also love the Caribbean and Europe. But I got to tell you, you can tell what I like. Galapagos and safari and swimming with sharks. And y'all can buy from me, but you probably don't want to travel with me because I might hurt you.
The Animal Planet with Dondra, right? What about wish lists? Any place in this amazing world that's really kind of at the top of the list that you hope to get to?
I really want to get to the Antarctica and all of that, because now I want to go from safaris and swimming with sharks in Australia and the Galapagos to, you know, now seeing those polar bears and those types of things. And so that's on my bucket list trip, and I haven't had time to do it, but I absolutely will do that someday. And again, this is joyful, right? You go and you see these places and you do these things, and it's so much more joyful than sitting at your home and you know, having a conversation or watching something on television. You're in it and immersed in it and feel it and love it. And to me, that's what makes the world go round and why we've got so much revenge travel right now.
Absolutely. Wow. Very well put. We're getting ready to sadly almost start to wrap up our 2-year anniversary special. It's amazing how fast the time goes when we're having just a fantastic conversation like this. We wanted to thank you for hosting Avoya Travel. I personally want to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to be my special guest on this, a really special show for me, of course. And before we wrap up, I just want to afford you the opportunity, if there were any thoughts that you had or things that you wanted to share with both our audience in person and those of, you know, watching at home. So I'll just give you a chance to have an open forum for a second.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be with you. You're amazing. I love the show. 2 years, awesome. Keep it going.
Thank you.
I adore, on behalf of Celebrity Cruises, Jason and everybody, we adore Avoya and who you guys are, what you stand for, and how amazing you are in this industry, and that we all need you. And I'm really grateful for that. And so doing things like this are super easy because you guys mean the world to us, not only professionally, but personally as well. You can't help it. You fall in love with people in this industry, and you become real friends with them. And then lastly, I would say, you know, if you're thinking about becoming an Avoya agent, or you are one, is keep doing this with your heart and soul and be passionate about it and love it. I know that's how I feel. And that's why I talk about all the time, attitude is everything, and looking forward and not back. And, you know, we talked about being a maverick and do this because it's so fun. And at Celebrity Cruises, we promise each and every day that if you trust us with your guests that you send us, that we will not only be great stewards and deliver on our promise for that guest, but we'll continue to be the best partners we could ever be with each and every one of you guys at Avoya. And we're going to keep selling cruises, and we're going to keep delivering cruises that are this relaxed luxury resort at sea for years and years to come. And let's just go get those 80% of the world, and let's get them to cruise, and let's all make money together and keep doing this with our heart and soul.
What a fantastic way to wrap up this interview. Dondra Ritzenthaler, everybody, Senior Vice President of Sales Trade Support for Celebrity Cruises. Thank you again for being part of our show. So before we wrap up, I've got just a couple of seconds of housekeeping I want to do. Next week, we're going to be back. We're going to be back in my home office, but Brenda Potter, manager of Network Enrichment, is going to be our special guest. We're going to talk about the brand new Network Enrichment Center. We can't wait for that. We want to tell everybody, especially tomorrow, right? Veterans Day is tomorrow. Avoya Travel, we love veterans. We have a fantastic veterans discount. So if you're a member of the military or a spouse of somebody in the military and you're looking at affiliating, we've got $100 off our affiliation special. So reach out. We've got the kind of resources to match whatever part of the industry you're in. New to travel, we've got resources to help you get off the ground. Experienced travel agent, we've got the resources to make a difference in your business. So again, reach out to avoyanetwork.com, get that requested, talk to a specialist. They would love to tell you the Avoya story and answer all of your questions. I thank you. I'm just blown away by the fact that we've got a live studio audience. I've had the opportunity to do this for 2 years. So please reach out. I'd love to just chat. My email's on the screen, chris.green@avoyatravel.com. Again, Avoya Network is the place to go to reach out and get the process started. And again, big thank you to everybody today. Celebrity, this beautiful ship to be on. The amazing AV guys, thank you so much for everything you've done to make this a fantastic special. To our guests in house, to you watching at home. Thank you so much and have a great week, everyone.